All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to this episode of Bullets, Barbells, and Barbecue. I'm your host, Brett. Chris, the artist formerly known as Heavy C. Matt is not here today, and Tanner's back, so we're going to hear about all of his mistakes.
About how we sucked while he was gone. Yeah. So we're ready. Oh wait, you got to do the show. You got to do.
Oh yeah, we got our show partners, Elite Nutrition. Check them out at EliteNutritionOmaha.com. Use code B3 at checkout for 10% off. Or you can go to the store at Omaha or Lincoln and yell B3.
Get a free shaker.
They are LGBTQ friendly. I saw on their reviews.
Yes.
So that's cool.
Yep.
Which it figures in the Cybertruck part.
I don't think you plus.
Plus, I'm sorry.
You've missed the plus.
Yeah. So that does make sense. The Cybertruck part.
It does. Yep.
Yeah.
We're just friendly to everybody.
Yeah.
Just a friendly store.
But yeah, so if you go to the store and yell B3 at either location, you get a free shaker.
Jesus.
We are
Talk about
go back and
I'm
listen.
I'm
listen
trying to give you a double fucking plug here.
I was
after
gonna say,
that. I know you're used to the double plugs. We just talked about it.
We already did that.
We
your dementia's
did
kicking
not
in.
already do a double plug.
Not a double plug.
That's what you just said.
Yeah.
We already did the
Did
free
you do
shaker
that
part.
before you came in here?
Triple plug.
And then Rosewood Block, they make the best cutting boards in barbecue.
Got handled like a bowling ball before I said no.
Fully customizable. Check them out at rosewoodblock.com. Use code B3 at checkout for 10% off. I did reach out to them about the Ace Hardware situation.
Okay.
And she said they're only in the Ace Hardwares down in Arkansas and
That makes sense.
another, where is it, Georgia? Somewhere down there. But
Alabama.
Yeah, maybe it's Alabama. So yeah. But they're trying to expand out into more.
It makes sense though. It's kind of in their region.
Yeah. She said that they're trying to get the bigger distribution, but it's like she said she's learned a lot.
It's a lot of production, man.
So
Especially when you're making cutting boards this nice and they take that long to make. I'm not sure that's a retail market, like a big retail market, but
yeah, they're pretty awesome. And I'm assuming if you want to get one, their Christmas order things will be coming up where it's fast.
yep.
Like their lead time gets filled up pretty fast.
I thought I was going to have mine by Christmas and I did not.
When'd you order it?
Way late. I just had no idea. It was like, I think she said it's like 6 weeks and it was like 6 weeks to the day that it showed up. I mean, whatever they tell you, they hit their date. I just had no clue that it was going to be that long.
We should get some made and have like a fucking giveaway.
That's a good idea.
Even like if it's a topper. Those little topper ones.
No, I thought you were talking about Madigan.
It's all about the fucking three fingers and
I don't know what's
fucking
going on over here. You must have had a good day.
Must have rode in the Cybertruck today.
Oh.
All right, so yeah, Tanner has some fucking fact checking to do.
Well, I made a mistake on the Hep C vaccine that I said with children. It was actually Hep B. And then my other one was...
I thought I told you that day that their Hep C just was curable recently. I thought we talked about it that day.
You were saying, yeah. So I thought it might be a new thing, but it was Hep B. I still don't think kids need Hep B. I just don't think so. Like, I only got Hep B when I went to Guatemala. You know what I mean? I just don't. My whole thing on that is I think, and RFK talked about it, it's like you can't have the people that fund the FDA be the people you're regulating. Right? Like, doesn't work very well. So if they want to make vaccines and they make money on them, and understand in 1986, they signed a bill that said, since vaccines are inherently dangerous to make, vaccine manufacturers should hold no liability for downstream liability. So they're already dangerous. It says it in the bill. I didn't say that. The bill said that. So I think we should pump the brakes on. Some of them might be a fine, but I don't think we need 50.
I think the Hep B vaccine's been around for a long time, though, hasn't it?
I just don't think kids need.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think kids need it, but certain jobs that you do, you probably do need
yeah.
it. Depending on
when I went to Guatemala for mission work, I had to get it. I got it, right? But I think it's an adult, just like chickenpox vaccine. Like when I think they did it in San Diego to start off with, and the first time they did it, they had a huge shingles outbreak.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, what was the big deal with everybody getting chickenpox? How many people died from chickenpox?
Well,
probably
shingles
it's pretty minimal, right?
So it increased shingles, right?
Which is worse probably than chickenpox.
Which is like way more deadly than chickenpox.
Because I remember having chickenpox as a kid. and everybody there used to
They used
be
to have the
like,
chicken pox parties.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, so you can get it over with, and then
Yep.
you're done. Yeah,
But I got chicken pox, and we had my mom had a pox party. All the kids in the neighborhood came over.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that was my thing. And then just that you could not get the Illinois score right.
That was the only other
know, it
fact
was
check
a-
that you have.
It was Chris Berman too, by the way.
I couldn't think of his last name.
Rumbling,
yeah.
bumbling, stumbling.
Yeah, Mike Allstott.
Back. I love Chris Berman.
Yeah, his sound effects when
Chris
he would-
Berman was great.
That's back when
and
ESPN
Stuart
actually
Scott.
used to be good.
Him and Stuart Scott were really good.
cold like the other side of the pillow.
Yep.
Yeah, that's when ESPN was like good.
Yeah.
The only reason I have ESPN here is because there's nothing else to put on.
Yeah. It's
Just-
true.
Yeah. It's just like the same fucking conversations all morning.
Maybe you should just put like West Side versus the World on replay.
I've thought about that. or
like one-
Blood and Guts on one and West Side versus the World on the other.
And then like the Arnold
Pumping Iron.
Pumping Iron. Like you could just have them like going through.
How come the Food Network isn't playing? Everyone loves the Food Network.
I do love the Food Network.
Yeah,
I do love who's the Gordon Ramsay. Fucking love Gordon
I don't
Ramsay.
ever watch Gordon Ramsay.
Oh my god.
No.
I think
I watch
everyone
Bobby Flay.
I like Bobby Flay too.
I like him, but Gordon Ramsay's more
We
abrasive.
watch Triple Threat. We watch Alex versus America.
I like
Barbecue
beat,
Brawl.
Beat Bobby Flay.
Beat Bobby Flay.
Beat
That
Bobby
was
Flay
pretty
was
good.
really good.
Like I just like those people like, oh, I beat Bobby like on a fucking dish that you basically brought the recipe for.
He's
that's fine.
He goes in blind, and still
They should
he
switch it.
usually he wins a lot though.
All the people that have beat Bobby, they should bring him back, and Bobby gets to pick the dish.
Yeah. No, I mean I think I kind of liked it when he lost because he was actually pretty humble about it.
Oh, he's pretty funny about it.
Yeah, he's pretty funny.
I just like when people are like, oh, there's no way I'm going to lose. This is my grandma's ancient recipe, and then just get fucking smoked.
I
then
also
it's like,
I
you
also
should
like
kill it.
Chopped. Chopped's a good show.
I've only watched Chopped a few times.
Really? I think it's pretty fun.
I like
because they
Diners,
Yeah, Chopped is
Drive-Ins,
good.
and Dives is good too.
he kind of gets on my nerves after a while.
Yeah, he's a little annoying.
Yeah,
I mean I do like the show, but he's also annoying.
I think I'm just getting older and angrier.
But
Okay.
I love Gordon Ramsay. I didn't realize like Gordon Ramsay was like the second youngest or youngest like to two like a what's the Michelin
Star.
Oh, the five
two
star.
Michelin stars or something, and like apparently his first shows on YouTube. Like, and I want to go back and watch it, but I had a chef. Me and him were talking about it. Said he's like unhinged on this show. Like he like quit the restaurant he was working at to go like try and get like his second star or second Michelin star or maybe third or whatever, and like he like sold his apartment and like went all in and like he like grabbing people, like grabbing chefs, fired a waitress because she took a drink of water in front of a customer. Like apparently he is like even more unhinged than on like.
Have you seen the
show.
first season of Hell's Kitchen?
Yeah.
I think it's the first or second season when he tells one of the customers to basically fuck off.
Yeah.
He's like, they're coming up. They're like, "Hey, why is our food taking so long?" He's like, "Hey, you can fuck off."
Yeah.
And that made me laugh because it's so funny.
Man, I love
I-
Hell's Kitchen.
It's a good show.
I love Gordon Ramsay. Well, because have you ever watched MasterChef?
No, I don't think so. Is that where he judges?
So it's like him and like Aron Sanchez. He's on a lot of Food Network stuff, and then like Joe. But they'll take like home cooks, right? And then they'll usually have like some kind of team thing. Like this one's like generation, so they have like X, Y, or Generation X, Z, millennials, and like baby boomers. They're kind of in teams. But I love it when he helps them because he's like so freaking good. Like he's an asshole, but he's also very helpful. Like if he compliments you, it fucking means something. Like people like cry when he says something nice because he's always like, you're a piece of shit.
Worst Cooks in America is pretty good too. Yeah, that show's pretty funny.
I like the dude from Chicago that was on there. He's on The Kitchen. Because Worst Cooks in America is the one with
It changes the
Amber
the,
Elle was on it a bunch of times too, right?
the top chef. The chefs that are on there that are teaching people change.
Yeah, Amber Elle was on there for a while, and I don't care for her.
I think what's her name? The blonde-haired one.
Yeah, Amber Elle.
Is that her name?
Where it sticks up like all crazy like a rooster.
Is it Amber L?
Anne Burrell.
Anne Burrell. I thought you were saying Amber L.
Anne Burrell.
I did. I heard the same thing you did.
Okay. All right. I'm just making sure it wasn't just me.
Yeah, yep.
Anne Burrell. That sounds right. Okay. And then I think what's his name? The English guy, Robert Irvine, was on that show.
I met
a couple
Robert
times.
Irvine.
He seems pretty cool.
He was nice. He liked our.
What's cool about him is he's never been trained as a chef. I'm pretty sure he's just kind of learned on his own.
we ran into him at the Arnold, and he liked our OBGYN shirt. I told Amber we're basically friends now.
Yeah.
Definitely.
His bars are pretty good too. I don't know if they're good for you, but they're good. They're not bad.
But yeah, they used to have that guy from Chicago that's on that show, The Kitchen, that always makes like sandwiches all the time. He was on there a couple of years ago.
Makes
I like that dude. He's funny as shit though.
it's all you remember. The guy that makes sandwiches. I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
Well, that's what it seems like. I think at Core a lot they have the Food Network on a lot.
I like some of the holiday baking challenges are good too.
Yeah.
Do you like the Great British Baking Show?
No, that show's weird.
Oh, I love that show.
Really?
I haven't watched it.
Weird.
I love it because like some of their like, I feel like some of their comedy is like you can't say in America anymore. You know what I mean?
They
Like
call people twats and stuff all the time.
it's just like some of their stuff they say, like the sexual innuendos and just some of the weird stuff they say is it's like I don't think you can get away with that in America anymore. Like, but it's pretty funny. But
You probably can now, but there was a time when you probably couldn't.
But to your point, the kind of because like the judges are fine, but some of the hosts are goofy, like really fucking goofy. Like you have to watch this show for a little bit to
There's
like.
that one guy with long hair that wears heels.
He's a weirdo.
Yeah.
Right.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, I think I'm good.
But I think he's just kind of like who's the English guy that's gone super conservative now? Like he saw the light, like the curly haired, like really weirdo. But it's like he's like super curly hair. Like at one point in time he was like a heroin addict, and he had like some guy. He was in a movie, Saving Sarah Marshall.
Russell
Brand.
Russell Brand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Curly hair.
He does. He has kind of curly or long.
Does
hair.
he?
It's long, but it's curly.
Russell Brand sounds. He seems pretty smart and pretty articulate most of the time.
Hey, dude, that guy rattles. He talks fast, and none of it's pre-rehearsed.
Yeah.
No, he is like.
They tried to cancel him last year.
Yep. Tucker, when he was on Tucker's like, did you just like do that off the cuff? Because he just like, and Tucker's a smart dude. If Tucker's impressed, then.
There's been a couple of clips I've watched of him. He was on some show one time, and he just lit up the host by the way they were talking to him, like how they were speaking to him in general. And he was saying, it's rude how you're talking to me, and this is why you don't use proper English. And it was pretty funny. And he goes, do you guys do this for a living? You interview people for a living, and you have no idea what you're doing.
I subscribe to Tucker's station. He's got some good interviews on there, and he's doing that live tour right now. So he just put up one with RFK.
Yeah, he had one with RFK. I think
RFK.
Jason Aldean's on there.
Jason Aldean was on, but the one with RFK, he just put up. He's with somebody else on there also. But he's got a lot of cool stuff on there. He's got Vivek and RFK.
Okay.
On it.
Man, I think that CNN and MSNBC are going to learn real quick. Don't have Vivek on if you don't have your shit in a group, because he destroys. Like that kid, that guy probably came out talking. Like that is a genius.
He is a really good talker.
He's got something wrong with him.
Very good.
Why?
I mean, like, he's got something wrong with him.
Yeah, he's got the Elon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Elon's like you just some people when you look at them you just see their brains function differently. I mean,
but Elon talks very slower. Like he talks way slower and calculated.
Yep.
But Vivek talks very fast, but like factual.
And the thing is, the guy never says or we were joking. I was joking with people. I was like, the problem is that he'll never be the candidate for the Republicans. Like not this year, right? He couldn't be because he's like that fast talking, like, and just for like the South, you have a brown man who sounds super smart. I'm like, he's not getting into Mississippi. Right, like they're not voting for him. They're not going to trust him. He sounds too smart. Like he needs to like throw a duh in there once in a while.
That's a big speaking thing, though. It makes you sound more intelligent if you never have to say or. Obviously, I've taken a couple of classes on that, and you're supposed to pause. If you have like a brain fart in the middle of speaking, and you're going to say or you're just supposed to stop talking until you collect your thought. You know, but it's really hard to learn to do that. You have to really think about it.
You have to, and then sometimes when you're thinking about it, it like slows you down.
It locks you up. Yep.
But Elon, to your point, Elon won't answer a question without giving it thought. So if you listen to an interview with Elon, if someone asks him a tough question, you can see He pauses, he takes it in, he formulates a response. When some people like Rogan or Tucker or maybe Vivek can just start firing back and kind of go along as they're talking, he wants everything set before he starts.
It seems like your brain is working as your mouth's moving, and all that stuff just piles out of there, and
Right.
it sounds really good. And it's pretty impressive, honestly, with him.
With
But
Vivek?
yeah, it's great.
Vivek's great.
Very impressive.
I love Vivek.
I don't think we had a topic today, did we?
Well, it's week 2 of college football.
Oh, is that the topic?
Okay. That throw at the end of the first half that Raiola made to Banks on the back pylon, back corner or back shoulder throw, Banks high pointed it. We may have had receivers like Maurice Purify was pretty good. Kenny Bell, obviously, like we had some Brandon Riley. We've had some pretty good receivers come through, but we haven't had a quarterback who can throw that ball. He threw it from, I think about the 30 is where he ended up throwing it from, and threw it about 8 yards deep. It's 8 yards, so 38 yards, which isn't that far, but it was on a freaking rope on the outside shoulder. Only our receiver could make a play. There was no chance for a cornerback to make a play. Safety couldn't come over the top. Everything was outside. If he missed it, it just went out of bounds. We haven't had a quarterback be able to make that throw as long as I can remember.
I think he's pretty good, but I think you like him so much just because you're a bandwagoner Chiefs fan and he looks just like Patrick Mahomes.
Did you watch the Boston College
gonna blow by that.
Florida State
No.
game?
I've seen a lot of funny memes about Florida State and how bad football is for them this year.
It's really bad.
There's been a lot of funny stuff about that.
So I
haven't
wa-
watched the games though.
So Boston College won 28-14, and their quarterback's pretty solid. But when that quarterback's playing, I think he might be a freshman or first year starter. His feet are just tap dancing the whole time, right? Just tapping, like he's just like holding the ball and just feet are moving. And if you watch NFL or if you watch college, you'll see that, and it's usually someone who's just not very comfortable. They
Happy feet.
Yep, and
Yeah.
they're just always moving. Raiola was standing there. Like he only moved when necessary. That one throw he threw where he had to like bend his arm sideways to go around the ref because the ref was in the way. Like it's just like he's so calm.
Well, that must mean you trust the offensive line too.
Yeah. Well, he's just calm. He's just calm.
I think a lot of guys get happy feet because they think they're gonna get hit while they're throwing. You know?
So you'll see it like with younger quarterbacks a lot, especially like when they're in the middle of a pocket, even if the pocket's kind of clean, but it's kind of like closing in a little bit, they start bouncing or they just take off running, right? Shador Sanders for Colorado, he's one of few people who do it. The guy's super talented because he will give up so much ground. That guy will give up 20 yards. It's almost like Tecmo Bowl. Remember Tecmo Bowl back in the day when you just snapped the ball, ran to your end zone, and threw it to the next end zone? Like he goes so far backwards, and most quarterbacks can't do that and actually make positive plays.
I think a thing that was lost a lot too is like it's called a pocket for a reason, right?
Yeah.
It's supposed to collapse around you, and then you step into the pocket to throw. It seems like a lot of quarterbacks don't stay in the pocket.
They bail.
Yes, they bail out a lot,
Yeah.
and that's part of the problem because you have more time if you step into the pocket to get rid of the ball.
So that's what I saw Raiola do. He moved within the pocket, right? He didn't bail. He didn't roll out. Even Mahomes gets a little when it goes. He like always takes off to his right. Typically, he's just going right. Like if you need to spy him, spy on the right side because that's the way he likes to go. He'll spin. He'll do like that whole spin around where it looks in super slow motion because he is kind of fast, but he also looks really slow when he's running and like a duck trying to run really fast. But then he likes to roll out to his right.
I can't believe you're talking bad about him like that.
He's the best quarterback in the NFL. It's not even close. He's one of the best all time. His stats versus Brady like put Brady's to shame 7 years in.
I don't think you can say that unless he's been around for a while.
Okay, so I can't say that after someone who has
could say-
more stats than Brady through 7 years and already 3 Super Bowl wins. If he stopped right now, he's a Hall of Famer.
That's true, but
So he's one of the greatest of all time.
I don't know.
Hall of Famer kind of equals greatest of all time.
There's only one greatest of all time, and there's multiple quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame.
Yes,
I said one of the greatest of all time. It's hard to compare. It's really hard to compare generations of quarterbacks. because the game's changed. So, like, I'm not going to shit on Brady for not having all the passing yards that Mahomes has or all the touchdowns Mahomes has. He played in a different era. It was a different era.
I've never liked Tom Brady.
But he was a great quarterback.
He was a great quarterback, but I don't like how he changed how the league changed for Tom Brady. That's the thing that I don't like about it.
The tuck play?
I don't like how, well, I'm talking about quarterback, hitting the quarterback. Tom Brady, hitting the quarterback low, hitting the quarterback, whatever. Tom Brady was the biggest whiner when it came to getting hit.
I think it was. Don't you think it was kind of the time frame though? Because Manning whined a lot too.
And Mahomes whines more than anybody.
I'm not going to lie. I don't watch a lot of Patrick Mahomes because I don't like Kansas City. So I don't really pay attention to their games that much.
If there's a
know
ball
what I
that's
mean?
not caught, he's talking to the referee about why it wasn't caught. So there's
Well,
be a
that's
penalty.
that Tom Brady used to do the same thing.
You have to play the refs. You have to get the refs on your side.
I think there should
That's-
be like a 3-yard halo around him. They should be able to talk to him.
That was just what they were talking about
yeah.
on Hard Knocks. Hard Knocks. They have a rookie quarterback, and they were actually showing on Hard Knocks them going through like, hey, this referee is this guy. You need to get to know the refs because you're going to see him this many times a year. They rotate, and they talk about that. That's like a real thing that you want to build a relationship with the refs.
So, do you know?
Well, I wouldn't be an asshole to him. I'm not
Yeah,
saying that.
obviously, but
Do you know that before the game, that the refs meet with the coaches to talk about like what to look for? The coaches will say, "Hey, we're going to run this formation. It may look a little off, but it's legal because of this." Or like they do that. Like you have to get. So that's what Mahomes is doing, and Brady did the same thing. They're planting seeds for later on. That's what they do. It's part of
yeah,
the game.
but talking after every play is not. The
He doesn't
same
talk
thing.
after. That was an exaggeration. It's not talk after.
Not if, only if a pass doesn't get caught or
Oh,
something
excuse
that
me.
doesn't go
Yes.
his way,
Yeah.
then he talks to him.
And I know that you didn't watch the game last night, but Xavier Worthy is.
I said I watched 5 minutes of
okay.
it, Tanner.
Did you watch? Did you watch Xavier Worthy on that end around?
No.
Dude, looked fast in a field of fast people. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't know how well he can catch. Like, that's kind of the knock on him is that he needs to get some hands. But that motherfucker is fast. He gave him an end around, and when he hit that corner, it was like no one was touching him. It looked like he was like faster than everyone else. He fastest person in combine history. But I don't think he was faster than Dion or Bo, but they on electronic timers.
They have him as the fastest on electronic time.
Yep, he is. Xavier Worthy's the fastest on electronic time. He beat the record last year at the
Yeah,
combine.
wasn't it like
419,
It was
421.
It was on Hard Knocks too. And if you watch the season with the Giants, they're at the combine, and
Was it like 421?
I think it might have been 4.21. Let's look.
Didn't Cat Williams run the 40 at the combine this year?
He did run the 40 at the
And
combine.
it wasn't that bad, actually.
Well, someone was talking shit because he said he ran like a 4.40, and someone was like, "No
He
bullshit."
was on Club Shay Shay or something like that and said it. And then didn't he run like a 5? It was still like not bad though.
like 4.96,
Yeah.
like under 5 at like 50 or 60 years old, however the hell old he is.
4.21.
4.21. Yeah.
Speaking of
Now-
Cat Williams,
Let me
that,
I'll
fuck,
look up Cat Williams.
that fucking clip of Theo Vaughn where he talks about that he has a Cat Williams
The bla-
decoration.
Yeah.
It's a black nutcracker.
It's a black
And that
nutcracker.
guy's like, that's a black nutcracker. And he goes, he's like, zoom in. And that guy goes, I mean, it does look like Cat Williams.
And the black guy that's with Theo's like, I'm pretty sure this is racist somehow. And then Theo
Cat
was like,
Williams ran it in 4.97 at 52.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Cat
That's
Williams,
crazy.
He says some crazy shit, but he's like, okay, let's back it up. And I'm like,
No one's ever, when he was on Club Shay Shay, no one's ever come out and said he was lying.
no.
When he said he used to read like fucking how many books a year and
Yeah, so like that might have been a little bit of an exaggeration. I'm not saying there's not an exaggeration in there, but I bet you he read a lot.
yeah. Yeah, and he's not dumb.
No, that's a smart dude. Smart dude. There's some people like Russell Brand, Cat Williams, that like when they talk, you're like, but you listen to him enough, like this guy has a lot of shit going on.
If you really think about most of the like really good comedians I've ever watched over the years, they're really intelligent people
Yeah, you have to be.
to be that smart and to be able to, yeah.
Except for Theo Vaughn is not intelligent.
I think he is actually.
I don't think so.
I think he is. Because if you watch him interview someone like of intelligence, he can hang with them and talk to them.
I think that's part of his act.
I think did you hear when like he was talking about that in his town that they said that he beat Down syndrome? He's like, I didn't even start that rumor.
I was like when they beat up the deaf kid because they thought he was doing bad magic.
What was that? Joe Rogan had a clip, and he's like, I don't know. He said Theo was in Australia, and he's like, yeah, we got a koala coming by and hang out with us, and someone's like, man, you better watch out. Those things have chlamydia. You should wash your hands. He's like, I got some stuff too, man. He better wash his hands.
Or the one where he's
I remember. Yeah.
there was that dude in our town. You give him like 50 cents, he'd just show you his wiener. But sometimes he just show you his wiener for no money.
He is freaking funny.
He said some things that I've thought about before when he's like, oh, you never pick up like a bug and move it a couple blocks down the road. You just changed that guy's whole life. You know, I've thought about stuff like that.
Oh,
before,
yeah. You're like,
you
dude,
know?
that fucking grasshopper rode like 6 miles.
Yeah. Whole new world for him.
Dude, 6 miles to that grasshopper is probably like 1,000 miles to
Yeah.
human.
Or like
Yeah.
if you took a roly poly somewhere, and
I mean,
really,
whole new life.
yeah.
Yeah, you ever see like a snail just like cruising? You just like pick it up and move it that extra like 3 feet. It's probably like,
Thanks,
what, it's
man.
fucking time travel? Yeah, week 2, Nebraska, Colorado.
7-point favorites. At
As of
home.
right now,
So-
we're recording this Friday
Yep.
before the game
So
at Memorial Stadium. Weather's going to be nice.
my opinion is that I think Nebraska's the better team. I am a little.
I agree with that.
I am worried though because I think Shador's good. I think Hunter and Horn are freaking excellent. Like those two are excellent. And I just like if it gets to playground football, you know, I think Horn and Hunter will go over the top probably each once or 2 times combined. If we can keep those two to only 2 times combined and we like hold them and they have, 14, 21 points, but it's that big play. It's that big play. But our safeties are way better than North
I was
Dakota
just going to
State.
say I like the defense. I like the Husker defense.
But
So
our defense is pretty similar to last year, right?
yeah.
We didn't make any big changes as far as
I would say we have some slight upgrades in speed. We have a lot of depth. I think we have 9 defensive linemen that'll play.
because I was say because the same defense they played against last year and the Colorado offense didn't super.
I think
didn't super struggle
Our
last year.
defense coordinator is good. And I'm sure he learned from
Yeah.
what happened last year.
Well, and if you remember last year, I think like our first half plays were like fumble, punt, interception, fumble, punt. Like it was terrible. They had their ball. They got the ball on like plus side, so on our side of the field, way too often. Like it was just one of those things to where like the dam was gonna break if you kept even our punts were terrible, and that was in freaking Colorado, like where the ball's supposed to fly, and they were like wouldn't even get to the 50. It was pretty bad, and then Tommy Hill fell on a play that ended up being like a 40-yard or 50-yard play. Oh, no, he didn't fall. He jumped. He jumped and he jumped a route and got beat over the top. I don't think he'll make that mistake again.
I don't know what's going to happen.
But I don't think their defense can stop.
I'm looking forward to the game,
Yeah.
honestly.
I think it'll be a good game. I just
Yeah.
can't decide if it's just going to be like a real high scoring game and who scores last is going to win.
That's probably is how it's going to go.
That's what I was thinking, 'cause I feel like the defense is pretty similar to last year, and there's some the speed is there for Colorado. You know what I mean?
The speed's there for Nebraska, though, too.
No, I know, but I think Nebraska will keep up way better than we did last year, obviously, if not win. But I just think that it's going to be, I don't know how much of a defensive showdown is what I'm saying it's going to be. It might just be a high fly.
I think this will be 34-20 Nebraska.
Wow, you're giving them 14?
Yep.
Tanner also said before the podcast that they're going
10-2. They're going to start 7-0, lose to Ohio State in a closer game than most people think. It'll be a game that
They got Ohio State picked by 26 right now.
That's fine.
That's a long way off. That's
is
like
a- it is a long
predicting
way.
the weather
That-
next month.
That's going to
But
be.
that's got to tell you, Vegas has to feel pretty comfortable at that bet because that's the only odds they have out there right now on another Nebraska game.
That's fine. I'm just saying it's going to be closer.
I might
It's-
put some coin on that.
well, if you do it now.
Yeah. It's not a bad idea.
It's just going to be closer than I think people expect. Because the quarterback from Ohio State was transfer from K-State. He played at K-State last year. He is good, but he's not 5-star quarterback good like they've had recently. He's not that level.
Well, I think the biggest loss to Ohio State is Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, but even if you, I mean, Who's their new
I
receiver?
mean, talk about being a quarterback when you know if all else fails, you can just throw to Marvin Harrison.
But they have another one. That's Ohio State.
Well, they're always deep, but I mean, Marvin Harrison was arguably the best player in college football last year.
Yeah, but like their receivers, it's wide receiver U there. It is.
No, I know, but
it is wide receiver U. Like they have, like it's just like plug and play. Like Marvin Harrison was so good, right, that he didn't play his freshman year. I mean that's how deep they are there. Like if we had a Marvin Harrison here right now, Marvin Harrison Jr. from 4 years ago, 5 years ago, he would be starting. You know, but they're so deep. I'm not even sure he caught just a handful of balls. You know what I mean? Like he is great, but they just plug him in there, man. It is freaking amazing. They have so many good receivers. It's kind of like old Alabama running backs. You know, like with Saban, like you have all those running backs that like went to the league. Like every year they just plugged a new one in.
I think this week will be interesting because you'll find out.
It's going to set the tone for the rest of the season for sure.
And I'm not talking just Nebraska. I'm talking about across, especially the Big Ten. I mean, everybody in the Big Ten, except for Minnesota, won by almost everybody won by like almost 30 points or better.
SC didn't beat LSU that bad.
See,
What was this final score of that?
it was fairly close. I think it was
Yeah.
10 points, like 24-14 maybe. But fucking shit, USC beat up LSU.
They looked good.
And then Minnesota got beat.
Yeah.
But I would say overall, like that's
What did
not.
Minnesota play.
But that's, you know what I mean? Just overall for every Big Ten team to win like that all the time is not.
Yeah.
So it didn't give us a real clear picture on anybody.
I think Michigan will have a hard time with Texas.
I think Michigan is, and for an awakening, they probably aren't going to be how they were last year. They lost a good portion of their team.
Yeah. And their team was old last year. They had a lot of like 5th
That's
and
something
6th
graduated out, and
COVID seniors.
and then your coach obviously leaves. That's always a shot to the dynasty. Same thing with Alabama. You know, Ohio State. You're starting to see it a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, kind of Ohio State, but Ohio State only loses 2 games a year. Michigan and a playoff game. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a different level. And yeah, he could get fired. If he loses Michigan, he could get fired. He could lose one
You need
game.
to get that Iowa coaching contract, you know, where they just let you keep being mediocre forever and no one cares if you win. Yeah. They just keep you around.
They only lost by 2 points to North Carolina.
Yeah, but I feel
But
like
North Carolina's pretty decent, though.
I feel like they just piss it down their leg, though, too.
Wasn't North Carolina pretty decent last year?
I think they're okay. Isn't the old Texas coach there?
I don't know their coaches, but they lost their quarterback.
Who's
He went
their
in the
coach?
draft.
North Carolina's coach? They won their bowl game last year.
I think it was the old Texas coach that won the national championship with Vince Young. I just keep blanking on his name.
Oh, yeah.
Are you
what's that?
talking about, oh man, what is his name? He's old.
Yeah. But Michigan and Texas will be a big game this week. If Michigan,
Mac Brown.
yeah, Mac Brown,
He's the
Michigan can
oldest
win
head
the
coach in
game
college football.
if they keep the ball away from Texas. So they're gonna have to run it and get first downs and grind out drives. That's another thing Nebraska did this, and it's UTEP. I get it, but they had 3 drives like over like 10 or 11 plays. Like they got first downs. They moved the chains. On the first drive, it was 2nd and 30. Do you know how many times Nebraska converts 2nd and 30 in the history of Nebraska? Probably 0. And he threw a 19-yard pass and then made that other pass I talked about where he kind of threw like out of that 45-degree angle. Mm-hmm. Little half-cock sidearm. And got a first down.
There's not a lot of real crazy games this weekend as far as top 25. Michigan and Texas.
Yep.
That's probably the best game.
That one has Texas by 7.
Sounds about right.
Penn State's playing Bowling Green. Doesn't matter.
Do you know the best thing about NIL? The best thing about NIL this year, have you ever seen the Dr. Pepper commercial? You know, like Fanville?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So they have the sheriff in there, and the sheriff's talking with Ewer, who's the starting quarterback at Texas. Okay, Ewer's a great quarterback, but Arch Manning is behind him. Okay, so the sheriff's like, "Hey, we need to call backup." He's like, "No, we don't. I got this." He's like, "No, we need to call backup." He's like, "No, I got this. Backup may have nice hair and a famous name, but I got this." I'm like, "This is the best thing about NIL. We actually get funny commercials."
Georgia plays Tennessee Tech. Still not worth it.
No,
Notre Dame, Illinois. Iowa State. Iowa's picked by 3. That's like home field advantage. So there's basically no pick in that.
well, they may only score 3 points.
Well, but they're just getting the 3 points for home field.
Yeah. I'm just saying it
So
might
that
be
means that
3-0.
That means there's no pick on that really.
Iowa's defense is so freaking good, and I don't really like. I'm not a big fan of Iowa. Obviously, I kind of hate them. I have a shirt that says Iowa sucks. However, that defense is solid. It's always solid, and they put up 40 points in the second half. I think it was like 6-0.
I love
at halftime.
Iowa fans.
Yeah.
My favorite fans to make fun of. I said that last time too. So
I was in Oregon and I had it's a shirt with just a plain red shirt with like the outline of Nebraska. It just says Iowa sucks on it. And I was in Oregon and I get a drink sent to me. And it was like a freaking Iowa fan from out there. Like, I like your shirt.
Oh, well, all right, see, at least that was nice of them.
yeah,
There's no big crazy matchups really. I don't think anyway this weekend.
I think Nebraska, Colorado will outrate the Michigan Texas game.
is that where game day is at? Michigan, Texas.
Yes.
It's got to be right.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Well, but you know what? They'll probably get pretty close to the same because that's the 11 o'clock game and Nebraska's the night game. So,
I think Nebraska will pull higher.
you think so?
Yeah.
Deion Sanders and the Huskers. Yes.
Oh,
I bet- yeah.
Well, I'm not saying. I'm not saying that
It's on
Nebraska won't
ABC
pull
too,
high
isn't it?
ratings.
It's
I just
on
think
ABC,
that
isn't it?
whenever it's the early game, they always get huge ratings though too. And Michigan, Texas, that's still a good game too.
Yeah.
I assume Nebraska
I think
will-
It's good for Nebraska that it's a night game in Memorial Stadium because the
Man.
stadium's going to be rocking.
It's going to be so loud.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
assume that Nebraska will have the highest ratings, but I don't think that Michigan and Texas game will be that far behind it. If not, just because if they had the same time game, they'd be fucked then.
Did you know Rule? The thing about Rule is that Rule thinks about things that no one else does. So where has our sideline been? The home sideline has always been.
But I never understood that. The fucking sit and bake in the sun all the time, so he moved it to the other side so they get shade
But
faster.
how fucking long have we been over there?
yeah,
Well,
I never
fucking
understood
Osborne
that
was over
either.
there, wasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, how long have we been over there just baking in the sun when it's 95 degrees out? Now,
What we
I'm
do
s-
in the wintertime is you switch it back.
Yeah.
When it gets fucking cold.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Switch it back.
I guess I didn't realize that I never really thought about it. I never figured out how they established. But I always wondered why
I
they
guess you can do
fucking.
whatever you want.
And
It's your
did you hear
stadium.
what they're doing in, I think, 27? I think 27, 2 years. 26, 27, somewhere in there. It's going grass.
Oh, they're going back to grass?
Yeah.
Wonder why.
Rule wants a grass. Less injuries.
But that field turf's basically grass.
No. Field turf monsters. That turf monster reaches up and grabs those freaking soft tissue back.
Yeah, but dude, end of the season, that shit gets so fucked up and hard.
It's fine.
That's what I'm saying. I think it hurts just as bad. Like,
But it doesn't grab. It's in that field turf, like AstroTurf. It'll grab your foot. It'll grab your cleat, and that's where you get all of like the nut. There's nothing scarier watching football for if you're a fan of a team that someone goes down with no contact. You're like, well, he's out for the year.
yeah.
It's a CL or more.
Yeah. That'd be interesting.
So what's your guys' predictions? I said 34-20.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's going
Nice.
to come down to who scores last for real. I think it could come down to a field goal.
Well,
I just
pick
think
it.
there's going to be a ton of offense, and I don't know what the defense is really going to do.
31-28, Nebraska.
That's what you got. I was going to say somewhere right in there.
Well, pick a damn score.
I just said.
I guess we're on the same wavelength here.
I think it's going to be, I'll say the score is going to be like 31-28, but I don't know who. I want Nebraska to
I'm
win.
just going to pick Nebraska because
Yeah, I want Nebraska to win, but I think this game could go either way
Can I ask you why?
because
we're the most unluckiest team in
There's
the
that.
history of college
Hey,
football.
you gotta get rid of all that shit.
But
here's what he's saying.
I'm an optimist.
I mean, Nebraska over the last like 5 years has figured out how to lose a game in the last fucking 3 minutes.
We had a terrible coach.
it was
Scott
like
Frost was
that
terrible.
last year.
We had
That's
some
what
problems.
happened last year.
Busy. The players were still had that in their head. I think a lot. We have on the 115 man roster. I think like 70 of them are now freshmen or redshirt freshmen.
I hope
Like
you're right.
we have
but
flipped. We have flipped the team.
I hope you're right, but until that is proven, that's not. I don't feel safe about it. I'm just going to say that.
I've dropped it. It's past. We got rid of the coach.
It's been the theme for a long time.
We got rid of the curse of Frank Solich last year. We brought him to the field. Like, I think someone sacrificed a goat on the 50-yard line.
Was coming
We were
back to the
good.
field.
Huh?
Isn't he coming back? Because aren't they doing the Hall of Fame induction?
Yeah, but he came back. He came back. He came into Memorial Stadium last year. We got rid of that curse. It's gone. Boom. We're
But
done.
but it's not. It wasn't just one coach though. I mean, you had Frost. You had
No, it was us getting rid of Frank Solich. That's the
no.
curse.
I know, but I'm just talking about losing close games. That happened with Pelini. That happened with Riley. That happened with Frost.
I don't think Pelini was a lose close game guy. He was a get boat raced by Wisconsin guy. That was
No, but
like-
I mean, did we? I'm not going to start fucking putting any scores out there because then I'll just hear that I was wrong. I think that Nebraska has lost a lot of close games over the last fucking decade.
they have lost it. You're right. They have lost an inordinate amount of close games.
So that's why I think it's going to be very close.
I just don't think.
And I just think that Nebraska is not the only college team trying to get better.
They're the one that's doing it the best.
Oh my God, that's what I'm saying. It's like every college team is trying to get better.
Yeah, we're doing it the best.
So you're saying that we're going to win the national championship this year because we're doing it the best.
Not this year. 2 years we'll be in it.
You guys heard it from Tanner here. 2 years.
Dominic or Dylan Raiola will be a junior, and we will make it to the playoffs in 2 years.
You said we'll be in the national championship.
Okay.
What,
We'll be in
what
the
happens if
national
someone pays some good money and he transfers out?
He's not going anywhere.
Oh, how do you know that?
Why wouldn't he skate it on fucking Georgia?
Yeah.
First off, his dad's not going to let him. I don't think so. I mean, there's a reason why he's here. He wanted to come here. He doesn't need the money. His family ain't broke. Like, he's getting paid. NIL deals I don't think are public, but you know he's making over $1 million. Like, he doesn't need the money. He's going to go to the NFL. He'll be in the NFL in 3 years. Like that, he's a generational talent that we have not had here. We have never had a quarterback like him. Behringer might have been if he could have played. I will say Behringer was probably the closest because he had the arm and he was athletic and he had the head. But he's just behind Tommy. I mean, Tommy Frazier.
Well, he died, so that didn't help you there.
He did die, but he died after he graduated. He died right before the NFL draft that he was going to be drafted.
I don't know. National championship's big.
2 years.
2 years.
Yep.
So you think
26-27 season.
They're going to go to the national, and you're going to just go past every SEC team that's owned the national championship for the
He said
fucking.
playoffs. He didn't say.
He said national championship.
Yeah. I said national championship first, and then I said playoffs, but I'll go back with national championship. Yeah. It's a 12-team playoff. It'll probably be 16 by then.
Wow.
We'll have a home playoff game.
I hope you're right.
We'll have a home playoff
Yeah, I'm
game.
not. I never.
I hope
I'm never
you're
like God. I hope he's wrong.
Yeah,
I
I
just-
hope you're right.
We'll have a home playoff game in Memorial Stadium, which will be fucking amazing.
Listen, I've been a Husker fan my whole life. 100%, always all in. Didn't care if they lost, 10 games a season. I'm still buying their stuff. I'm still a Husker fan. But I have gotten used to disappointment over the last
Do you know who
20
my dad?
years.
Do you know who?
25 years.
Do you know who my dad hated?
I don't know your dad.
Tom Osborne, right? Because he grew up when Devaney won back-to-back championships, and Osborne couldn't win the big game. 70, 71 to 94. That was 23 years. Okay, like it switching and getting he thought Osborne was a choke artist. We all love Osborne because we grew up with him winning, right? Like some of our first memories are probably.
Just so we're clear, we should have won 3 national titles. We got screwed in the Florida State game in '93.
Screwed twice.
So, let's not talk about that, though.
Still
I
go-
remember watching that game as a kid and thinking we just got screwed. As a kid watching
Go
that game.
back and find the block in the back on that kick return. Go, I fucking dare you, because there's not one.
Screwed. Would have won
just-
that game.
But I mean, Osborne also had 25 years to do it.
He did. It's a different area. Everything has to be put on microwave right now. You got to go a little bit quicker. I feel like I've had to talk myself into other coaches. Like I talked myself into liking all of them. Okay, but I felt like I had to do some mental gymnastics to do it. Right? So Frost, everyone liked when he was coming here, but I mean, I'm sure someone thought it was a bad hire. You did?
Well, I said he was the most hated man in Nebraska when he played here.
Yeah, but when he came back, you just kind of felt like what he did at UCF, going from
No, I thought that was great.
0-12 to 6-7 to you. You know, Frost only ever had one winning season as a head coach.
But now the stat you're going to put out here about him turning the team around, everyone uses the same stat for Rule. Look at him turn teams around.
But he did it at Temple and at Baylor.
Yeah, but he didn't take him to like a national championship.
No,
Frost took him into like basically could have been a national championship. And they beat Auburn.
that's a bowl game. It doesn't count.
Well, but I'm saying they beat Auburn, who was
Yeah.
a good SEC team.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Rules kind of turned some teams around, but he didn't do anything with them.
Rule was on a trajectory to keep moving up. And you can't, if you're at Temple, you have to move up. So you go to Baylor. And then NFL calls, you're going to go to the NFL.
Now, when he left the NFL, people asked him about it, and he said he just felt like it wasn't. It was always transactional. There wasn't a lot of personal relationship in the NFL.
Yep.
Well, now college is the same thing. So is he going to have the same problem now?
I don't think college is the same thing.
But it's all transactional now.
I don't think it's all transactional.
So you think if somebody gets offered more money, they won't leave and go somewhere else?
I don't think money's the only thing, no.
Why is it different?
Because most of the people that are going to demand money are going to end up in the NFL. Like if you're good enough to demand money, you're good enough to make it in the NFL. So in my opinion, your money's already there. Any kind of money you make now is kind of bonus money. Your big money's going to come in the NFL.
But you never know. It could be your last game.
Could be, but none of them think that way. None of them think that way.
Well, I'm saying most of them think about where can I get the most money?
I don't think it's just the most money. I think, first off, Nebraska's NIL is tied in with the university. They have a great NIL program to where everybody gets NIL money. Almost every football player does. Every basketball player does. A lot of other athletes do. They do a very good job with it. It is controlled and it's always paid. A lot of these other schools, it's not paid.
But then why would anybody in the NFL switch teams? Because they already have plenty of money.
That's the end. You're dealing with an 18 to 22 year old. Go back to 18 to 22. You don't think about the end.
No,
you think about you don't think about what's gonna none of the you can't convince the number one whoever the number one high school athlete is coming out next year that his career may end. He's not thinking that way. They're just not. So I think they're going to go the best place that gets them to the next level. And I think that relationships are even more important now than they were back then. Like you have to build that relationship. Everyone can write you a check. The top 60 teams in college football, they can all write you a check, right? So it has to be more than that. In my opinion, you have to have a relationship because everyone can just write you a check. Tennessee can write you a check. Alabama can write you a check. USC can write you, like Wyoming can probably write you a check.
Well, I think they want to go their best chance to win. But now you look at Dylan Raiola. Well, what if Georgia comes back to him in a year and it was like they've seen his development. Hey, we're giving you this NIL money. We're fucking basically on the way to the national championship.
I don't think it's going to make a difference.
You don't think a kid will go to win a national championship?
I don't think he will go. Not everyone's just wired about money. That's just not the way it is.
But then you said they're looking for a place to win.
No, I said they're looking for a place to get to the next level.
Okay, but you need to win to get to the next level. That does help.
Really? So only people on Alabama or Georgia are drafted?
Fucking have you looked at the players coming out lately?
Yeah, they get 11 players drafted, and there are 7 rounds of 32 teams. So there are 240 or whatever freaking picks.
So if they each get 11 people drafted.
I'm just saying, it's super high to have 11 people drafted from a team. Super high. Right? There's 220 other people drafted. They just want to go where they have the best chance to go to the next level. And if you go to Georgia, depending on what you may not start. Like Georgia, he may not have started at Georgia his freshman year.
I don't know. I'm interested to see. I think they'll go wherever they can win and if they're getting paid.
I don't know. I think they go wherever they have the best opportunity to showcase their talent and that they have a relationship that they feel will benefit them.
That sounds like an intelligent way to think about it. But when you're 19 years old, I don't think you're thinking with the most intelligence.
You don't need 200 intelligent players to choose your team. You have 25 a year. You have 25 people you can recruit.
What I'm saying is the top tier kids that are going to get more money. It's probably some of those kids. It is all about the money.
Some of them there are, and he's not going to go after them. He's not recruiting them. I guarantee you, if it's just about a check, he's just not going to deal with it. The kids he's going to deal with want more than that. I'm not saying a lot. You could have, I don't know, 500 kids that, well, it's obviously more than 500 because there's 119 Division I schools. They all take about 20, 25 kids a class. There's a lot of freaking athletes out there. He doesn't need all of them. He just needs the 25 at the fit.
I think what Brett's trying to say is that what's worrisome is that you develop the talent and then a nice shiny school comes along that is in a better climate, has a better, off-campus life. You know what I'm saying? And then they can offer the same amount of money and they have 11 players instead of what? When's the last time somebody from the Huskers got drafted? Who was the last person who got drafted from the Huskers?
I don't know if they had anyone drafted last year, but it was the year before.
Exactly. So then you have in your mind, you're thinking, well, I'm good enough to play for Alabama. I want to be one of the 11 people that get drafted.
He didn't get kicked off at Georgia. He left on his own.
I'm not just talking about him in general. I'm talking about all the players in general.
And I completely agree with you. You just don't need, if there's 10% that fit, there's 10% that fit. If there's 5% that fit, you just need the ones that fit. And if you watch Rule, he gets a lot of Nebraska kids. He gets the talented ones. He goes after them. Look at the recruiting class from his first recruiting class and his second recruiting class has a lot of Nebraska kids in there. You have a lot of kids that are from the region. You have a lot of kids in the 500-mile radius, South Dakota, North Dakota, Iowa, Kansas, Missouri, Colorado. Quite a few Colorado kids because Deion won't talk to him. Deion won't make a home visit. Deion, I don't think, has ever been on a recruiting visit.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's bad for him and his organization there that he won't come to home visits.
But I'm just saying, you don't need, it's not like every kid comes out of Florida and only wants to be on a beach. I mean, Nash Hutmacher is from South Dakota. He's completely fine coming to Lincoln.
Well, yeah, he's already from here. But
there's a lot of kids. I mean, there's 85 scholarships. You get 20, 25 kids a year. That's it. You just don't need everybody. We have kids coming here from Hawaii.
I think the NIL needs to be a little fixed with how kids can do whatever they want. Obviously, I think it's a little.
Well, you only get one free transfer.
Well,
so after your second transfer, you have to sit a year.
Yeah.
So I mean, a lot of people aren't going to transfer twice if they have to sit a year. You should get one free transfer. I have no problem with that.
It's going to be interesting. I think it's just still too much of the Wild West out there to really make any predictions.
Yeah, I already did. 10-2.
But didn't last year
26-27 season?
Didn't last year before the NLL got involved in the school, and I said we just need to start buying players because that's what it's going to come down to. And I believe there's clips of you saying that's not what it'll come down to.
It is not what it will come down to.
I 100%.
You still think it's all about relationship?
No, I think here's the thing.
Did you hear what we talked about before you walked out where I said Rule said in the NFL he didn't like it because it was transactional.
Well, yeah,
not as personal.
It's probably still more personal in college football.
It has to be. You're dealing with moms and dads that are sending their kid to a school. They need to trust that school that their kid's not going to end up being a fucking derelict and pissing his talent away. A lot of people don't want their kids going to Miami where they have too much temptation. Lincoln is way safer. Most college campuses aren't in big towns. Besides, where's Georgia?
Athens.
Is Athens big?
Athens is literally connected to Atlanta, though, isn't it?
No, it's an hour and a half.
Is it?
They always talk about it when they have to go to play in the Georgia Dome. It's an hour and a half.
No, I think it's still one of those tight suburbs, though.
I don't think so. I think it's an hour and a half. We can look it up.
I just think
I'm just saying a lot of college campuses aren't in the big city. Wisconsin isn't in Milwaukee. It's in Madison. Iowa isn't in Des Moines. It's in Iowa City. Nebraska isn't in Omaha. It's in Lincoln. It's not. I mean, UCLA and USC are obviously
In LA.
in LA, but
Yeah.
which is actually a drawback for them to get coaches because it's expensive to live in LA.
The state's a shithole. So good luck.
California.
Yeah.
It's an hour and 38 minutes from center to center.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Tanner was right.
Well, but it's one of those weird ones because you can see, look at how far
I'm sure you
Atlanta
can.
goes out to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean,
It's probably
like the white
it's
where
probably,
Atlanta goes out to Athens, and
It's probably technically 30 minutes away.
when you actually like leave the city, you know what I
30
mean?
to
Like,
40 minutes away.
Yeah. I mean, it's just not. I mean, even if it's an hour,
It's not in the heart of the city. Like,
it's not like a lot of kids from that go to like Lincoln are coming up to Omaha on the weekends. That's 45 minutes.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
just-
I don't know how it's. I think there needs to be some like regulation in the.
I completely agree with you.
So you don't, because then otherwise you don't want to turn it into a developmental program.
And I
Like maybe Matt Rule's like great developer, and then they're just like, oh cool. So Georgia's like, well, last time we fucking went and took these people from Nebraska, they were fucking pretty solid. So
So we
it's
just become like a JUCO school.
yeah, it's like a
we're
D
just
league.
in
We're just a
development.
fucking D league team for everybody.
Yeah.
the thing is that if you're playing at Nebraska and you're excellent and you go to Georgia, it does not mean you're starting.
See, just by you saying that, though, means they're better.
They have better recruits.
Okay, exactly.
Yes. They always have. Nebraska wasn't your number one recruiting class in 94, 95, or 97 they were good.
That's what's scary about the NIL then.
That's what I'm saying. Is it going to
yeah.
keep Nebraska mediocre and it's going to keep all these other guys?
I don't think so. I think it actually levels the playing field a little bit because Nebraska has a lot of money. Wisconsin has a lot of money. Like there's a lot of schools with a lot of money out there.
Yeah, but Wisconsin doesn't have any national titles.
They don't. Neither does
Red's,
Iowa.
Red's really just pink unless you won a national title.
Yeah. Well,
I think the relationship still matters in college football. I think it still matters.
and I hope it'll be interesting to find out.
I think it still matters.
And I think it'll take a couple years. We'll find out.
I think getting Dylan Raiola proves that it still matters. He's here because of
I
relationship.
mean, if he wanted to come here so bad, why did he care that Scott Frost didn't show up to the meeting? Just come to Nebraska. Why do you have to have Scott Frost come blow you to come to Nebraska?
Why shouldn't the head coach be there? That shows you don't care.
I'm not saying he didn't care. I'm not saying Frost didn't fuck it up. But what I'm saying is, if you really wanted to come here, why do I have to have a meeting? I should have just came here in the first place. Why did I ever go to Georgia?
That probably left a really bad taste in his dad's mouth.
I'm not disagreeing with it. I think Frost
Once
fucked this
again,
up.
fucking
that's a
huge.
relationship.
Huge.
That's
idea.
what I'm saying. The relationship
that's what I'm saying.
still matters.
But what I'm saying is, if you really want to come here and be a legacy player, does it really matter?
Yes.
I think it does. I will agree.
See, if I always wanted to play
think
for
that
Nebraska,
matters.
just like that kid, have you watched that Chasing 3?
Yeah.
And that kid was like, as on the walk on, he's like, hey man, I don't know if I'll get a play. I just want to be part of the program.
He's a walk-on.
I'm just saying, if you really want to play for a school, you'll do whatever. Wouldn't like if I really want to play for Nebraska,
I think it's
wouldn't.
a different expectation with someone like Raiola's talent and then walk-ons. Obviously,
Well, I think
the
it's
head coach isn't coming out and talk to the walk-ons like, "Hey guys."
Well, no, he
Okay,
just said,
okay.
he goes, I know I
If
might
I-
not ever get a play. I just want to be a part of Nebraska.
If I really wanted to come here to your gym, or if someone really wanted to come out to my store because their friends said, hey, I go out there, or we sent a bunch of people, send someone over to you, say it's my favorite place, right? And you're never at the front desk to sign them up. Like they show up, nowhere's to be found. There's no front desk employee. And they're here 2 or 3 times. They're not coming back. It still matters. Even if they really wanted to come here, you still have to get them here. If someone comes to my store and I don't talk to them, they can't buy anything.
well, but there's still going to be. There's still someone going to be there.
But I'm just saying, if someone ignored them, like if my employee ignored you when you walked in, didn't say hi, or if I just ignored you when you walked in, didn't say hi, didn't ask you any questions, you're walking around the store looking to buy something, looking to buy some protein, pre-workout, whatever, and I don't talk to you, you're probably going to leave. It's the same thing. Frost can't show up to a fucking meeting. Show up to a fucking meeting.
And where was the meeting at?
It was on campus, I think.
I thought it was in Arizona.
Oh, might have been. Who knows?
So that's what I'm saying. He wasn't even in Lincoln. Why were you in Lincoln? And I'm not shooting on Rail. I think Frost fucked this up. Don't twist this at all. I'm not saying anything wrong, but I'm like,
Because recruiting.
if you want to be a legacy player and your dad already played here, you shouldn't even have to recruit him. His dad already played here, and his dad is like,
once again,
You should
Can
take
I get to
anything
the-
for. I don't think you should take anything for
No,
granted.
I'm
Can
not
I-
saying
you know,
I'm not saying Frost didn't fuck this up. I 100% agree. He should have been there, but
Frost
in
was
general,
having couple too many caffeine.
but overall,
Cokes.
I'm just saying, if you really want to go to a school, you're gonna.
Hanging out
I wouldn't
with
have had
some-
this meeting in fucking Arizona. I would have just showed up at fucking
Hanging
Nebraska.
out with
They
some golf
have-
cart girls, hide in a
They
closet
fly
somewhere.
all over the place.
I understand
It
that.
is disrespectful not to show up. So completely disrespectful.
I understand.
Which means I don't think you can get me to the next level. Which means I'm not fucking coming here. If you can't show up to a meeting and
But
you
so
don't
that's what I'm
have,
saying. Do you really want to go to Nebraska, or this goes back to do you really want to go to whoever's better that's going to make you the next level?
you can really want to go to Anderson Ford and buy a Bronco, and if they suck, you're going somewhere else. I'm just saying you can really want to go somewhere and do something, but if they suck, you're going somewhere else. Like you just can't take it for it's just basic customer service. Like show up to your meeting, shake hands, kiss babies, do what you're supposed to do.
I mean, they probably should have expected it that Frost wasn't going to show up. He didn't hide in a closet while his girlfriend was getting beat up.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
He did.
yeah.
yeah. I I guess if I was
Yeah,
really,
I mean-
if I really wanted to deal with a place,
Allegedly.
and I knew that that's where I was, I don't know. If I came to your store and you weren't there, I would have fucking waited till you were there, or I would have fucking still bought something.
I'm just saying, if someone walks in my store and I ignore them, they're probably not going to buy something. I have to talk to them. I have to ask them what they're looking for, answer any questions, let them know that even though their friend sent them over, that yes, I am good. Right?
What if
Just
there's
because-
someone who doesn't like to be talked to when they're in a store? They just want to buy something and leave.
That's fine. Then I shouldn't harass them. But I also have to understand what I'm doing. You can really easily tell, hey, can I help you? No, I'm good. All right. You're good. Let me know if you have any questions. Or I can just ignore you and you probably walk back out the door after standing there for 10 minutes.
I just think if he was, I think if you were going to go,
I think we're getting hung up on this.
We're going to have to
Yeah.
agree to disagree on this.
Yeah, we're getting hung up on it.
I just think that relationships matter. It's not just about a check. It is about relationships. Tom Brady could have went and played for more money anywhere else. Relationships matter. He wanted
That's different, though. He was an adult.
but he was talking about the NFL, or that's only
Yeah.
transactional. Like
Yeah.
relationships.
because that's why Rule supposedly, well, a lot of college coaches failed in the NFL.
Yeah.
Rule failed terribly in the NFL, and he said, well, it was more transactional than it was personal there.
Oh, Pete Carroll failed in the NFL too, or in college football. Pete Carroll left college football because he said it felt like it was different. Like he said, it felt like you develop players and they would leave. And that's why he left the NFL, or left college football and went to the NFL. So it goes both ways, right? But I think Pete Carroll was doing some shady stuff at USC,
Which is now
And that's-
100% legal.
yeah, exactly.
like
And Reggie Bush should get his Heisman Trophy back.
I think he
he did.
has it.
Did he get it back?
Yeah. Went to Vince Young's house and fucking took it back from him.
I just think relationships still matter.
I'm sure they probably do. I just think that was his reason for the NFL, and I was like, well, it's got to be transactional now. I'm sure it is.
It's not as transactional.
You're still sending your 18 to 22-year-old kid to play at a school away from the parents.
I think Rule's
They still have to
one
care.
of the best coaches we've had in a long time. But I also think that I don't like people making excuses as to why things didn't work out for him in other places. I mean, he shit the bed it when he coached for the Panthers, obviously.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's the only place.
I mean, yeah, but just be like, hey, the NFL was a different type of place for me.
That's what
it
he
didn't
said.
work out. You know what
That's
I
why
mean?
he said it was more transactional. That's
Yeah,
why I said,
I mean,
should we be worried because now college football is being transactional?
I think that was a mistake on his part to say the transactional part. He should have said it was a different kind of
Well, he-
atmosphere that he couldn't really.
He wasn't in charge
navigate.
of players.
Well, yeah, I
That-
guess the GM was running that part of it,
Right.
right?
He wasn't in charge of players. He didn't get everyone. Like it's a completely if the coach isn't on. We were talking about this earlier. If you want to be a good NFL team, you have to about a third of your roster on rookie contracts. For one through first, second, third, fourth year rookie contracts, or you can't afford to pay Mahomes, or you can't afford to pay Jordan Love, or name Aaron Rodgers, or name a quarterback, Dak Prescott.
Wasn't that part of a stipulation when Bill Parcells was coaching that if he came to your team, then he also was pretty much the general manager too. Like most not 100%, but he had a lot of say in.
Well, I think that's why it
Who they
was so hard
acquired.
for Bill Belichick to get hired again because he wanted control of everything.
Yeah,
Well, and I think that's why Jimmy Johnson ended up leaving Dallas.
Yeah. He wanted more control of the team.
Yep. Not taking over for Jerry.
Nope.
how old is Jerry?
He's old.
1,000.
He's so old. He's so old. His kid's old.
His kid's like 70.
Yeah.
All right, we got to look now. Jerry Jones.
But I think it's a 3-point game this weekend.
I think they're going to go over the top on us, just like UTEP. UTEP went into warp speed and got us in that one, but we learned. We made adjustments. White's a great defensive coordinator. I think it was the best thing to happen in Nebraska in that game was that UTEP had that one
He's got
drive.
a 1-year deal.
It doesn't really matter.
Well,
All right.
good if he leaves.
It doesn't matter. I mean, they just buy it out. It doesn't matter.
First guess.
He'll be on a 1-year deal until he's a head coach, basically.
How old is Jerry Jones?
82.
I was gonna say 87,
He's 81. How much is he worth?
like $4 billion.
8 billion.
15.
Oof. Well, his Cowboys are worth like 9, I guess, aren't they?
They're worth $9 billion.
They were like 6
they
or
were
9.
They were the first $1 billion team, and then they were $2 billion. They're the first $2 billion team.
See what they're worth. It's like, I thought it was like 6 or 9 or something like that now. I was surprised they were showing like the top valuable teams, and the Cowboys weren't the most valuable team.
Oh, really? Who is?
I don't remember where I saw that.
The
Like,
Chiefs?
most valuable sports teams.
Oh, other sports teams, it's probably like Real Madrid.
Cowboys are worth $10 billion.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember where I saw that.
I bet you it's like Real Madrid or some soccer team.
Dallas Cowboys are the number 1 most valuable team in the NFL.
Yes, but I think he's talking about like of all sports.
This is the 2023 ranking. I maybe then it said the Yankees were number 2 because the one I saw, Golden State was number 1 actually. They're number 3 on this list with the Patriots.
This is number 2 is the Rams.
You're just looking at
Yeah,
NFL.
football.
Yeah, I'm just looking at football, but yeah.
This is the 2023 list,
Well, the Rams are probably worth quite a bit because they have the new stadium and they're in LA.
but they share that with
The Chargers.
Because this list from last year has Cowboys, Yankees, Golden State, and Patriots are tied at 3. 5 is the Rams. 6 is the Giants, and then the Bears are number 7. The Bears,
The Bears
are
have
worth
a
$6
big
billion.
They have a big legacy. This says that the Ravens are worth $6.03 billion.
You want a stupid fact? Do you know the Bears have never had a 4,000-yard passer ever?
Well, their fucking McMahon was blind.
I was just gonna say, don't talk about Jimmy Man like that.
They've never had a 4,000-yard passer. They're the only team in the NFL that's never had one.
If you are listening and you haven't seen the Super Bowl Shuffle, make sure you Google it.
85 Bears.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be next couple of weeks are really going to start to spread out the college football teams.
Yeah, I think once you get into conference play, it really does.
Yeah, start to show who's actually good, bad, ugly.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll be a good game in Lincoln. I think it's going to be a close game.
I think it's going to be loud.
It's going to be loud.
I think it's going to be Miami from a few years ago. Like, that stadium was angry that day. I mean, not like they're going to beat up Colorado fans angry, but just like, you just feel like the tension.
We got a buddy that's on the security detail for the team, and I asked him, he was in today, I said, how do you think that's going to go? He goes, well, he's like, dude, if they fucking come over that end zone, that's like a 7 or 9 foot drop. I go, they've been drinking all day, dude.
Yeah.
Not feeling a thing till tomorrow.
Yeah.
And he was like, I guess. He was like, I guess we got to do what we got to do.
Well, they just let him go. They don't even, if
Well, as far as fighting,
oh,
he told me that Osborne came down and talked to the team today or yesterday and was saying, you know, even when we were winning national championships, we didn't fight, we didn't do stuff like that. And I said, I'm not worried about the team.
no.
I'm fucking worried about the fans.
Yeah.
Like,
Not worried about the team
I
at
don't
all.
think that's gonna. I don't think the fans are gonna fight anybody. I don't think it's gonna.
The only thing would be like rushing the field, which is going to irritate me because you don't rush the field for not beating the top 20. Like,
I'm just gonna say you're not. This team's not even ranked.
I know.
We should be. We look so like amateur.
but what if
hour
it-
you're rushing
but
the
it's
field for
probably
this.
going to happen with the students.
but didn't Colorado used to get in fights all the time when Nebraska would play in Colorado?
I've never been to a Colorado game at Colorado, but I've heard there's a lot of bad stories about.
So-
Was that
the
Missouri
fans
that
going
year?
to
They were
Colorado.
slashing people's tires?
I've heard worse stories about Colorado fans.
So I was at Colorado
Anyway.
when I was 16, 17, sitting in like 50-yard line, quite a ways up, but like right in the middle of Colorado section. It was Amon Green, first play, option left, cat the pitch, touchdown. And I freaking stand up and I'm cheering. I get I'm 16. I get beers thrown on me. So I gave him the double bird. Like you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Well, it would be sweet if Rayola showed up wearing like a buffalo pelt. That'd be awesome. Just walks in with like a buffalo fur coat.
Like
on.
that was that Terrence Crawford came out wearing that fishnet.
Yeah. At
Yeah.
Missouri, where I was at a Missouri game, and these Missouri fans were like, "Oh, come over to tailgate," and they freaking tried to hand us raw chicken sandwiches. Like it was kind of cooked, but they knew. I tore it open first.
You should have just ate it like that fucking kid on the internet was eating raw chicken until he got a tummy ache.
Not doing that.
He was fine.
Not doing that. Oh, Plum Creek. I learned an interesting chicken fact. Do you know that if even like smart chicken, if chicken crosses state lines, that it has to be bleached?
No.
Yeah. If chicken crosses state lines, it has to be bleached.
Weird.
So I found this Plum Creek chicken out of Birchfield, Nebraska, Ellsworth Crossing out by my house, out towards Utan, is expensive. But I will tell you that cooking 2 pounds of it, like we normally cook 3 pounds for a meal, 3 pounds was too much because it didn't shrink.
They didn't inject it and blow it up.
No, it's just like, and it's not gross. It's not slimy. Like I usually hate touching. Like I hate chicken. It's freaking great. It is expensive though. It's like $13 a pound.
Well, at least you know they're not fucking you on it though.
Yeah.
Why don't you grow your own why don't you grow? Why don't you have your own chickens?
You know, well, I don't have the land for it, but chickens would be the hardest thing to try and feed your family. I mean, eggs obviously would not be, but growing meat chickens, just like how many people are in your family?
5.
Okay, so how many chicken breasts would you cook 6 or 8 chicken breasts for a meal?
Probably.
So if you cooked 8, you have to kill 4 chickens, right? Now you have 8 thighs, which aren't a meal, right? And you have 8 wings, which aren't a meal, and you have 8 drummies. You know what I mean? Like
That's why you do a whole chicken.
You would have to,
So-
but sometimes I just want some, some chicken boobs.
So keep the boob for you and feed the fucking everybody else the rest of the shit.
I'm just saying. I think a cow or a pig is the most like if you had to have one thing you were raising, you raise one cow, you feed your family for a year. You know what I mean? It's the most diverse.
Teach a boy to fish.
Yeah.
Feed his family for a lifetime.
I mean, eggs are obviously the best way. Like if you had layers.
Have you guys thought about getting chickens for eggs?
I have, but Utan won't allow chickens.
Don't you live outside the city?
Nope.
How do they not? They really don't allow chickens in Utan. That's
I know.
you
The
can have
ma-
chickens in Omaha.
I know.
And
I know.
pigs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
The more you know.
Yeah.
I did cook some short ribs. And the only short ribs that I've ever got before, like Hy-Vee, they have some Asian ones. Have you ever seen those?
Korean short ribs.
Yeah, they're so freaking good, but they're all like thin.
Yeah, they
I was
cut
going to
'em.
ask you. So the ones I got were fucking huge. Like it was like
The
this
dino,
much.
The dino bones.
That's
was
what
like-
I said to him. The dino bones.
But how? Like where did the little ones come from?
They cut those up.
But they have all those little bones in there. Like so they just take the rack up and they cut it the other way instead of like cutting it. Okay. But it just like I was trying to figure out like I don't know how you would turn this into
And I believe
that.
there is another set of ribs in there
Like a smaller.
in the cow, but yeah, like, they just cut them. They cut them that long way.
But it was just like the bone was like that thick, and like in those like Korean ones, they're small.
yeah,
They're-
I think there's another. It's been. I watched a video on doing some beef ribs, and they were showing there's like another set of ribs that nobody really gets though.
so it's like 3:00 on Sunday, and I had set the ribs out. I was like, all right. Nicole's like, okay, how long do the ribs take? I'm like, oh, I don't know. We'll get them on here in a minute. But I was just thinking it would be quick. It's like pulled meat church up. I'm like, apparently we're eating these on Wednesday because it takes 10 hours.
Yep.
So she had to run the smoker. The only bad thing was she figured out it's not that hard. So like I've lost. Like she checked on it like twice.
Yeah, got to get yourself a drum, so you got to keep track of it, or
Yeah.
egg.
Now she realizes that when I'm out there smoking, it's not that difficult.
Yeah, I got my home drum now.
You have a home drum now?
Yeah, Amber got me a home drum for our anniversary.
Wow.
Yep. Then I got sick and didn't get to use it.
It's a lot of work.
Not bad. Made some pretty fucking killer wings on it.
Oh yeah. Is it not that hard? Is it not that much work?
It's not
Like
bad.
when you kind of get it up there, you don't have to like feed it all. You
You can fill up the whole. There's a pretty large fire basket.
okay. And like you said, there's like dampers on there that like put your finger in there if you want.
That's what redneck said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Charlie, put your fingers right there. That's 350. And he wasn't far off. But in they hold temperature really well. At least I have a gateway. I have the gateway here, and then I have a gateway at home. And they're nice setups.
Got smokers everywhere.
Yeah. Not every wife has a husband with 4 smokers at home.
She's a lucky lady.
See?
She is a lucky lady.
Yeah.
And
Boy.
she doesn't eat beef.
Or pork.
No. It's all about the chickens.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we, for having nothing, we talked.
Yeah. Well,
Chris and I have a close game. Tanner's got a 7-point game, 14-point game.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's right. Tanner
Yeah,
also
I hope
thinks they're
he's
going to
right.
2 years and they're going to win the national championship.
10-2 this year. You heard it here first, Tanner.
Tanner,
Yep.
you still sticking with your prediction?
Yeah.
What is yours?
I said they're going to go 500 with the bowl game, possibly 7. 7 possible wins.
I said 6-6 bowl game.
I think it's going to be 7. I'm leaning more towards the 7.
All right. Can we go through the schedule? Oh, do this in the next one.
We can go to the next one. Because here's the thing, and this is that's the same reason Chris and I just said about why we're worried about this game. You never know the last so many years with Nebraska. The last few years.
At the end of the game.
Okay. So,
They didn't lose to, okay, so we misquoted a couple of games last year.
yep.
But they have lost to Illinois. They have lost to Purdue. You know what I mean?
I mean, they kind of boat raced Purdue last year with
They beat
no
Purdue last
quarterback.
year. I get it.
And they beat the shit out of Illinois. If you remember that game, we tried to fucking lose it over and over and over again with turnovers. Like, we beat their ass.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Now, if they win 7-8 games this year, then next year I'll fucking look at the schedule and probably be like, I bet they can win fucking 10, 12 games.
You just look at the schedule and be like, they can win 10 now.
I've been a Cowboys fan forever too. I don't know what's going to happen week to week. It's not just Nebraska.
So we have Northern Iowa, Illinois.
And you know what? They 100,000,000% should smash Northern Iowa, but Northern Iowa has come through and beat Iowa.
Northern Iowa is good.
Yeah.
But we should win.
Yeah. Nebraska should 100% win, but you never know.
See, we
Even in Nebraska's heyday, though, remember Iowa State would come and upset Nebraska sometimes.
No.
Used to beat him by like 80 points.
No.
Oh, they never lost to Iowa State one
No.
fucking time.
Like, in
Not
our
that I can
heyday,
remember. Not
never.
in the 90s. He used to fucking
If you're talking about our-
steamroll Iowa State.
Nebraska or Iowa State, Kansas. They never upset us.
Maybe in the 2000s. I don't think they.
In
not that
90
Tanner says never.
I say in the 90s, never. In 96, we lost to Arizona State with Jake Plummer to start the season off. That kind of sucked. And then
Brett's right. In 92, Iowa State beat number 7 Nebraska 19-10.
and so the other 9 times it didn't happen.
The record is 18 wins and 85 losses.
Okay.
So they have beaten Nebraska 85 times. But my whole
No.
point is that this is on Iowa State's page. It says wins 85.
No.
18, I mean.
Yeah. So they've lost to Nebraska 85 times.
Yeah, so I said they have upset Nebraska. That's what I'm saying. They
Yeah, but
beat Nebraska.
18 out of 113. Or 103. Sorry. So 18% of the time. It's pretty much never.
And in 2010, Nebraska will beat Iowa State by 1 point.
Yeah. Do me tell you I was at that game?
Yeah, was it great?
No, it's terrible. Iowa State faked an extra point and threw an interception to lose the game.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I thought there was one other time they beat them where Nebraska had like some wicked fumble or something like that. But that was not in the 2000s, maybe.
I think
In
Nebraska,
2002, they beat it. Iowa State won 36-14.
Iowa State did. Mm-hmm. I think that was
34-27 in 2004.
so. That was, I think that one of those games was like we fumbled the ball like 700 times that day.
Because I was gonna say I remember one of those. Then
Yeah,
they
it
won.
sounds about right. Like we were just saying.
Then they won 9-7 in 2009.
That
About
was
how
the
you
one.
can't-
And
That
they
was the
won-
one we fumbled. We fumbled the ball like 8 times. We had like 7 turnovers.
And then they won by 1 point. Like, so my whole thing is that just any team, like those weird teams will come out and upset people. That's
Yeah.
why it's you get those weird teams and
But Northern Iowa win, Illinois win, Purdue win, Indiana win, Rutgers win. Who'd I miss? Oh, nope, that's 7. Ohio State, close loss. I might even change my prediction of that game.
God. So you're basically saying Nebraska's going to be fucking 12-0.
No, I'm just saying I might. Well, here's the thing. I don't think. I think we could. I think I may.
This is what I'm saying is I'm not saying they can't, but this is like saying that no other college football team is trying to be
Iowa
good.
win, Wisconsin win, UCLA win,
So, okay, so we're going to lose to USC.
and Ohio State.
When he said, but it might change my mind.
I could. If we're 7-0 going to the game, I might be just going pushing all in on that. Bitch.
Now what do you say if they get fucking stomped tomorrow by Colorado?
Well, that's going to change my take. But I am a fan, which is short for fanatic. So I am not supposed to be reasonable. Right
Which
now.
is weird because he only likes teams that win in the NFL.
I never had a team that I really cared about.
As soon as the Chiefs aren't good, he's fucking on to the next one, dude. You know it.
I like the
100%
Chiefs.
agree.
I like the Chiefs because I like Patrick Mahomes. I think he's a great quarterback, and I think yes, when he went there, do you remember the Oklahoma Texas Tech game with Baker Mayfield and Patrick Mahomes?
I just remember Baker Mayfield because he made me laugh.
Mahomes threw for like 730 that game. They each had 7 touchdowns. He had over 800 yards of offense by himself. I think it was like 730 throwing and like 80 rushing or something. Like I remember watching that game, and when they drafted him, like that's going to be. And then he didn't even play his first year because what's his ass was there.
I think that blew his leg out.
Yeah, but he did that for the Redskins, I think.
Yeah, and he played for the Niners too, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
I don't.
Alex,
Alex Smith.
there you go.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, that's their predictions for the weekend. Tanner thinks Nebraska's basically going undefeated this year. So
Pretty much. Best team in college football.
Yeah, I could be right.
Hey, I hope you're right.
I've never said I hope you're-
100% hope you're right.
I've never been like that. I fucking hope Tanner's wrong and they lose every fucking game.
I said I hope Tanner's wrong a lot, but
Even when we made the
Nah.
bet, what did I say right away? I said I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm taking your money.
the bet is for 6-6 though.
No,
Right.
the bet's 7 games. They have to win 7 games.
Oh, but you said that they win. If Tanner says they have to win 7, then he
If
wins.
they're 6-6, I lose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if they win 7 games, Tanner wins.
Yeah.
And I
I
don't-
think they're going to win 7 games.
I don't think we counted the bowl game, right?
No, we just said regular 7
Yeah.
7 games. And we didn't say conference and non-conference. I should have threw that stipulation in there, but
I think
What?
you are going to lose this bet. I think they're going to win.
What'd you
7
say?
Games.
I said we should have thrown in the non-conference games. I should have took those out of the bet, but it's fine. I don't really care.
We're still going to win 7.
Well, according to you, we're fucking
No.
winning them all. Fuck.
We're all going to win 6. No, 7. Do we have 9 non-conference games?
You just said we had 9 before.
Yeah, we have 9. So we're going to win 7 of them. Let's still win. Let's go, bitches.
All right, guys. Well,
Meow.
that's when this comes out, we'll fucking the it'll all be revealed already anyway. So
You should put this out tomorrow morning.
now, because everybody will be going to Lincoln getting fucked up anyway. The 6 people that listen are from this area.
No.
We're in multiple countries, but
They could listen on the way to the game.
they could.
Be like, yeah, we're going 10-2.
Oh, I think there's plenty of other people that are already fucking. A lady I train, her coworker said they're going 11-1 already.
No, there we go. I like him.
I bet you do. Actually, you probably don't. But
We'll keep you on the edge of your seats for the update on mine, FN 502 on the next podcast.
oh yeah,
yeah.
it's gonna be
Well,
good.
actually, I might not be here for the next one, but next time I'm on, I'll talk about it.
Tanner, you got anything else?
No.
All right, well,
Natty,
good.
Natty 26-27.
What?
Natty National
I know.
Championship 26-27.
Well, you're basically saying this year, fuck 12-0, or fuck might as well run through the national championship at that point.
Maybe.
Anyway, back to reality. Appreciate you guys listening.
If we go 12-0, I'll put some money on Rayola being a Heisman Trophy winner.
Well, I would assume so.
Yeah.
All right, guys, try to be a little less shitty every day. Like, subscribe, follow, share, and we'll see you next time.